Hello everyone, this is Ashley Tucker. Thank you for joining me today. For today's card, I started with a piece of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. And this is the color Speckled Egg by Brutus Monroe. I cut the paper in half using my tonic trimmer so that I have two pieces of cardstock that are both 5.5 by 8.5. Next, I took one of those pieces and I cut it again so that it's 5.5 by 5.25. Now you want to add some score lines to the two pieces. Using my score buddy, I first took the shorter of the two pieces and I scored it at 1.25. For the larger of the two pieces, you want to make two score lines, one at 1.25 and the other at 5.5. Once I finished adding all of my scoring lines, I just used my bone folder to help me get some really nice creases and folds. Notice how for the longer piece of cardstock, I folded in both of the ends towards the middle so that they come in together. Next, I used my ATG gun to add some adhesive to one of the smaller flaps. I made sure to place that adhesive right up close to the edge of 3 of the sides, leaving the top side without adhesive. Next, I pushed the two small flaps together so that these two pieces of cardstock are now adhered to each other. Now the sizes of my two pieces of cardstock were just a little bit off, so I took the whole thing and I put it in my trimmer and I just trimmed off a very small amount so that they'd be even. Now if you take a look at what I just made, you'll see that there's this little piece that pops up in the middle and it has a pocket which is perfect for a gift card. So you can use any color to create that piece and then you can decorate it however you want. To decorate mine, I took a piece of alabaster white cardstock and I put it in my MISTI, and then I stamped this Jingle All the Way sentiment with some Distress Oxide ink in the color Candied Apple. Now for those of you that don't know, you can emboss with Distress Oxide ink. And because I planned on embossing this, I did go over my paper with a powder tool before I stamped. Then I embossed over the top of the Distress Oxide ink with Rainbow Sparkle embossing powder. Using my Big Shot, I cut that sentiment out with a circle die, and then I took a piece of red glitter cardstock and I cut an even bigger circle, and then I used my Gina K Designs Connect glue and adhered the sentiment circle onto the glitter circle. I set that sentiment aside for a little while so that I could add some nice stenciling onto the outside of my card. So I took a piece of masking paper and I placed it along the edge of that score line just to protect that area because I only want the stenciling to be on this flap. Before adding the stencil, I did go over the paper with my powder tool. I used this snowflake stencil from Brutus Monroe and I just pressed some embossing ink into the stencil so that I could add that snowflake design onto the flap. I used icicle embossing powder from Brutus Monroe, and this is a clear embossing powder, so when I heat it up, it's just going to make those areas a little bit darker and shiny. I took two pieces of red and white baker's twine, and I taped them to that flap that I just embossed using just a regular piece of Scotch tape. I added a couple of pieces of foam tape right over the top of that area so that I can hide that Scotch tape that I just placed, and then I added my sentiment circle right on top of that. This next part is completely optional, but I took my ATG gun and I glued down a piece of white cardstock to the inside of my card so that I have a nice place to write a message. I wanted to add some decoration to that paper, and my first idea was to go around the border with a dashed line. After looking at that for a little while, I wasn't too happy with it, so I decided to instead make it a solid line all the way around. So I went right over the top of my dashed line using my ruler and a red Papermate pen. So now that my card is all completed, you can see how it closes up, and I can use that string that I attached in order to keep it closed. I find it really helpful to use a pair of tweezers to hold the string in place while I tie my bow. So here's a closer look at the finished card. And when your recipient receives the card, they'll see your beautiful design on the front, and then they can untie the card and open it up, and up pops the gift card. And it's not just for gift cards, because you could also put some cash in there. I think this is a really fun way to give someone a gift card, and it's not that hard to make. Thank you for watching today. I hope you really enjoyed this pop-up gift card design idea. All of the supplies that I used for today's card can be found in the description down below. If you enjoyed watching today's video and you have not subscribed to my channel yet, I would encourage you to hit that subscribe button so that you can see all of my future videos. I'm going to be back with a new video on Wednesday. Again, thank you for watching. I appreciate all of you, and I hope you have a good day today.